The signal came from nowhere. It pierced through 300 years of silence like a scream in the dark. The Galactic Union's monitoring station at Proxima Centauri picked it up first. A simple distress beacon from the Sol system, from Earth. Commander Zixathera stared at the readings with 3 of her eyes while the 4th checked historical records. Earth. The dead world. The lost world. The place where humanity had made their final stand against the Krathak swarm and lost. Everyone in the Union knew the story. 3 centuries ago, the humans had fought bravely. They were new to the galaxy, young and full of hope. Then the swarm came. The Krathaks were a nightmare made real. They were not a species, but a plague. They consumed everything, planets, ships, people. Nothing stopped them. The Union had watched from a safe distance. They sent warnings. They sent prayers. They did not send help. The swarm was too dangerous, too hungry, too unstoppable. The decision was made. Earth would be sacrificed. The quarantine zone would hold. The rest of the galaxy would survive. Zixathera remembered watching the final transmission. A human woman with tears on her face. She spoke of love and hope and forgiveness. Then the signal died. The Sol system went dark. The humans were gone, but now this, a signal. From Earth. The Union Council met in emergency session. Arguments flew across the chamber like fire. Some said it was a trap. Others said it was impossible. The Krathaks did not leave survivors. They did not leave anything. Zixathera spoke up. She was old now. She had lived through the human crisis. She had voted to abandon them. That guilt never left her. We owe them this much. We must go. We must see. The council agreed. 3 scout ships were sent. Zixathera commanded the lead vessel. They jumped to the edge of the Sol system and waited. Sensors swept the darkness. What they found made no sense. Ships, dozens of them. They moved in formation around the outer planets. These were not Union ships. The design was strange. Dark metal, sharp edges. They looked like weapons themselves. Before Zixathera could give orders, alarms screamed. Weapons locked onto her ships. A voice came over the communication channel. Human, male, cold, identify yourselves. You have 10 seconds. Zixathera activated the ancient human greeting protocols, the ones from before the swarm. This is Commander Zixathera of the Galactic Union. We received your distress signal. We have come to help. Silence, then laughter. Bitter and harsh. Help? Now you come to help? 300 years too late. We did not send a distress signal. That was an old beacon, a ghost. Turn around and leave, please. We must know. What happened here? How did you survive? Another long pause. Then the human spoke again. We fought. We bled. We died. And then we won. Without you. Without anyone. Earth does not need the Union anymore. Zixathera felt ice in her blood. The readings confirmed it. Mars was covered in structures. The moon had massive orbital platforms. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was gone. No, not gone. Transformed. Turned into thousands of space stations and shipyards. Sensors tried to scan Earth itself. They failed. Something blocked them, a shield. Energy readings were off the scale. Please, just let us see. Let us understand. The human was quiet for a long time. When he spoke again, his voice was different. Tired, 1 ship, 5 people, no weapons. We will escort you to New Geneva. You will see what you left behind. You will see what we became. Zixathera selected her smallest scout ship. She took only 4 crew members. They followed the human warship toward Earth. As they approached, the shield parted like water. Below them was Earth. But it was not the Earth from the records. The planet was green and blue. Oceans and forests. Cities glowed in the darkness. Everything looked normal, beautiful, but something was wrong. The cities were too organized. The lights too bright. And there were structures. Huge towers that reached toward space. Weapons platforms hidden in the clouds. They landed in a massive underground complex. The walls were metal and stone mixed together. Organic and mechanical. It reminded Zixathera of Krathak's bioforms. That thought terrified her. A human met them. A woman in a black uniform. She was tall and strong, but her eyes were wrong. Too bright. Too sharp, enhanced, modified. Welcome to New Geneva. I am Captain Maria Santos. Follow me. The council will see you now. They walked through corridors filled with humans, soldiers, scientists, children. All of them had those same sharp eyes, those same enhanced bodies. They looked at the Union delegation with curiosity. and hatred. The council chamber was a large room carved from rock. 12 humans sat at a curved table. Old and young, men and women, all enhanced, all changed. One of them stood, an old man with silver hair and scars on his face. I am Chairman Liu. I was 10 years old when the swarm came. I am 320 years old now. I have lived long enough to see humanity die, and to see it reborn. Tell me, Commander, why are you here? Sixth Thera chose her words carefully. We thought you were dead. We mourned you. We carry the guilt of abandoning you. We came because we had to know. We had to see. How did you survive? Chairman Liu smiled. It was not a kind smile. We survived by becoming monsters. Chairman Liu led them through the underground city. Zixithara tried to count the people they passed, thousands, tens of thousands. All living beneath the surface. All enhanced. All survivors. They reached a memorial hall. The walls were covered with names. Millions of names. Billions. The humans who died fighting the swarm. 8 billion people lived on Earth when the swarm arrived. Do you know how many survived the first year? 50 million 1 year. That is all it took. Liu touched one of the names on the wall. My mother, my father, my sister, all gone in the first wave. I survived because I was in a school bunker. Deep underground. We stayed there for 3 years. Eating rats. Drinking recycled water. Listening to the screams from above. Zixthera felt shame burning in her chest. We are sorry. We thought the swarm could not be stopped. We thought everyone would die. You were right. Everyone did die. The humans you knew, the peaceful explorers, the dreamers, they all died. What survived was something else. Liu brought them to a laboratory. Scientists worked at stations filled with strange equipment. In the center of the room was a tank. Inside the tank floated something that made Zixthera's blood freeze. A Krithak specimen alive contained. How is this possible? The swarm cannot be captured. They die rather than be taken. We learned to speak their language. Not with words, with chemicals, with signals. We cut open their bodies. We studied their minds. We became experts in their biology. A young scientist approached. A woman with glowing eyes and metal ports on her neck. We did more than study them. We took their gifts, their biological engineering, their neural networks, their ability to adapt. We made it our own. She pulled back her sleeve. Her arm was not entirely human. Beneath the skin was something else. Something that moved and shifted. Biomechanical tissue. Part machine. Part organic. Part Krithak. Zixthara stepped back in horror. You merged with them? You became like them? We had no choice. We could not beat them with our weapons. We could not outrun them with our ships. So we learned from them. We took what made them strong and made it ours. Liu gestured for them to follow. They went deeper into the complex. The walls changed. Less human. More organic. Living metal and breathing stone. It was beautiful and terrible. They entered a massive chamber. It was a war room. Holographic displays showed the solar system. Every planet. Every moon. Every station. All connected. All armed. General Sarah Okonkwo was waiting for them. She was tall and powerful. Her skin had a metallic sheen. Her eyes glowed with internal light. She looked at the Union delegation like a predator studying prey. So, the Union finally remembers we exist. How convenient, General, we came to understand. To learn what happened. What happened? We fought for our lives. For 50 years we hid underground. We fought in tunnels and caves. We watched our people die. We watched children starve. We watched the swarm consume our world. And we learned Okonkwo touched the hologram. It shifted. Images appeared, battles, horrible battles. Humans fighting Krithaks in close quarters. Hand to hand, tooth and claw. We learned that the swarm was not invincible. They had weaknesses. Chemical weaknesses. Biological weaknesses. But to exploit those weaknesses, we had to get close. Very close. So we modified ourselves. The hologram showed humans changing, growing stronger, faster, deadlier. Enhanced soldiers who could match the swarm. Enhanced scientists who could predict their movements. Enhanced leaders who could coordinate millions of fighters across the planet. It took 100 years. 100 years of war. 100 years of evolution. But we won. We killed every last Krithaks on Earth. We sterilized every nest. We burned every egg. And we did it ourselves. Zixathera looked at the data. Population estimates. Battlefield reports. Casualty numbers. The scale was unbelievable. Humanity had fought the longest war in galactic history. And won. After the war ended, what did you do? We rebuilt. We had 10 million survivors. 10 million enhanced humans. We needed more people. So we used Krithak's biological technology. We extended our lives. We cloned. We grew. We built new cities. New ships. New weapons. We prepared for what? For the day when the galaxy needed us. We knew it would come. The swarm always returns. They are not gone. They are never truly gone. They wait in the dark. And when they come back, the Union will need someone who knows how to fight them. Zixathera felt cold certainty in her heart. She knew what was coming next. They have returned. That is why you are really here. The swarm has come back, Okonkwo smiled. It was a warrior's smile. Hungry and fierce. Yes, 6 worlds have fallen. The Union is losing. You need us now. You need Earth. How does it feel, Commander? How does it feel to beg for help from the people you abandoned? Zixathera met her eyes. She would not look away. She would not hide her shame. It feels like justice. We were wrong. We were cowards. We let you die, and you have every right to refuse us. But I'm asking anyway, please help us. The galaxy needs you. The room was silent. Okonkwo looked at Liu. Liu looked at his council. They had a conversation with their eyes, with their enhanced minds, speaking without words. Finally, Liu spoke. We will discuss this. You will wait. Tomorrow we will give our answer. That night, Zixathera could not sleep. She walked through the human city. She saw children playing, parents laughing, soldiers training, life, hope, strength. Everything the galaxy thought was lost. She understood now. Earth had not died. It had been forged, tempered in fire and blood, transformed into something new, something terrifying, something necessary. Morning came. The council gathered. Okonkwo stood at the center. Her decision was made. Her eyes burned with purpose. Earth will fight. Not for the Union, not for forgiveness. We fight because the swarm must die. We fight because we remember what they took from us. We fight for revenge. The mobilization began immediately. Zixathera watched from orbit as Earth transformed. The shields dropped. Massive doors opened in mountains and oceans. Ships rose from hidden bases, thousands of ships. Each one looked like death itself. They were not like Union vessels. They were smaller, faster. Dark metal covered in organic patterns, biomechanical hybrids, part ship, part weapon, part living creature. They moved through space like hunting animals. General Okonkwo commanded the fleet from her flagship. The ship was called Vengeance. It was fitting. She contacted Zixathera directly. We have conditions. First, Earth forces operate independently. We take orders from no one. Second, we need access to Union intelligence. Everything about swarm movements. Third, when this is over, Earth gets a permanent seat on the Union Council. The Council will agree. They have no choice. Good. Then let us go kill some bugs. The combined fleet jumped to the Draken system. It was the latest world under attack. The swarm had been there for 2 weeks. The planet was already half consumed. Union forces were in retreat. Their ships were damaged. Their commanders desperate. Admiral Takron commanded the Union fleet. He was a veteran of many battles. He had fought the swarm before. He had always lost. When he saw the human ships arrive, he felt hope for the first time in weeks. He opened communications with Okonkwo. General, thank the stars you are here. We need to coordinate our attack. Our battle plan requires heavy bombardment, followed by strategic withdrawal. We cannot risk close engagement with the swarm. Okonkwo laughed. It was not a kind sound. Admiral, your tactics do not work. They have never worked. Watch and learn how Earth fights. The human fleet did not slow down. They accelerated, directly toward the swarm. The Krithaks had covered space around the planet. Millions of bioships, living vessels that moved like a single organism. They detected the humans and swarmed toward them. Takron watched in horror. The humans were going to die. They were charging into a death trap, but something was wrong. The swarm was behaving strangely. They were hesitating, confused. Some of them were turning on each other, fighting themselves. What is happening? Okonkwo answered calmly. Pheromone warfare. Chemical disruption. Neural jamming. We are speaking their language, Admiral. We are telling them lies. We are making them see enemies where there are none. The human ships crashed into the swarm formation, but they did not explode. They tore through. Their weapons were not energy beams or missiles. They were biological, viral weapons, genetic bombs, things that made Krethak's ships dissolve from the inside out. Takron watched as human soldiers boarded Krethak's vessels. They wore armor that looked alive. They moved faster than should be possible. They fought with weapons that seemed to grow from their bodies. They killed with terrible efficiency. One boarding team transmitted their actions back to the fleet. The Union crew watched in silence. A human soldier ripped through Krethak's defenders like paper. Her armor adapted to every attack. Her weapons changed to match every threat. She was laughing. Enjoying it. Takron felt sick. The humans were winning. But at what cost? What had they become? Within 3 hours, the swarm around Draken was destroyed. Not defeated, not driven away, destroyed. Every ship, every organism. Dead, but the planet was still infested. The swarm had already landed. They were consuming the surface. Millions of Krethaks dug into the ground like parasites. Okonkwo deployed the cleaners. Special forces trained for surface operations. They dropped from orbit in pods that looked organic. Living metal that could survive atmospheric entry without shields. Sixth Thera requested permission to observe from the surface. Okonkwo granted it. Against her better judgment, the commander joined a cleaner team on their descent. The landing was brutal. The pod crashed into Krethak's territory. The doors opened. The team leader was a man named Marcus. He had fought the swarm for 200 years. His entire body was enhanced. Metal and flesh and something else. Something alien. Stay close, Commander. Stay quiet. And whatever happens, do not get in our way. They moved through a landscape of horror. The swarm had transformed everything. Trees were gone. Grass was gone. Everything was covered in organic matter. Living walls. Breathing floors. The planet was being digested. The cleaners moved through it like ghosts. They used the Krethak structures for cover. They mimicked swarm pheromones. They became invisible to the enemy. When they attacked, it was quick and silent. Blades that cut through bioarmor. Poisons that shut down Krethak's nervous systems. Precision. Ruthlessness. They reached a hive entrance, a massive organic structure that pulsed with life. Inside would be millions of Krethaks, the heart of the infestation. Marcus looked at his team. 12 soldiers. 12 enhanced killers, standard protocol. We go in. We plant the Genesis charges. We get out. 15 minutes. Anyone left behind gets left behind. They entered the hive. Zixthera followed. The darkness was absolute. The air was thick with spores and chemicals. Her environmental suit struggled to filter it. The humans did not need suits. They breathed the poison air. They moved through the dark like they could see. They could see. Their eyes glowed with internal light. Enhanced vision. Enhanced hearing. Enhanced everything. They fought through waves of Krethak's defenders. The battle was close and vicious. Humans and swarm locked together in death struggles, but the humans always won. Always. They were faster, stronger, more brutal. They reached the core, a massive chamber filled with eggs and larvae, the next generation of the swarm. Marcus planted charges around the chamber. Biological explosives, weapons designed to cause cascading genetic collapse. Time to go. Move, 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 they ran. The hive knew they were there now. Alarms screamed. Not sounds, chemicals, pheromones, the entire structure came alive. Krethaks poured from every wall, every ceiling. They were everywhere. The team fought their way out. One soldier fell, then another. They left the bodies behind. No time for mercy, no time for grief. Only survival. They burst from the hive entrance. Behind them, the charges detonated. The explosion was not fire. It was biological. The hive began to dissolve, to rot, to die, and the death spread. Through the ground, through the air, through every Krethaks on the planet. Within an hour, the planet was silent. The swarm was dead, all of it. Draken was saved. Back on the ship, Zixthera filed her report. She did not know what to write. Earth had saved them, but Earth terrified her. These were not the humans the galaxy remembered. These were weapons, living weapons forged in hell. That night she found Marcus in the ship's medical bay. He was being repaired. Biomechanical tissue was being regrown. He would be ready to fight again tomorrow. Are you afraid of us, Commander? She considered lying. She chose truth instead. Yes, you are more dangerous than the swarm. Marcus smiled. It was sad and tired. Good. Fear keeps you smart. Remember this, Commander. We did not choose to become this. We were forced. The galaxy made us into monsters. Now you need those monsters to save you. That is justice. Cold and hard. The war changed after Draken. Word spread across the galaxy. Earth had returned. Humanity was fighting. The swarm could be beaten. Hope returned to the Union, but not everyone was happy. Some species feared the humans more than they feared the swarm. They saw what Earth had become. They saw the enhancements. The biological weapons, the ruthless efficiency. They whispered that humanity had become the very thing they fought. Sixthera defended them in every council meeting. She spoke of their sacrifice, their courage, their necessity, but privately she shared those fears. She had seen the humans fight. She had seen what they were capable of. The war continued, battle after battle, system after system. Humans and Union forces fought side by side. But it was always the humans who went into the worst situations, the deepest hives, the most dangerous nests. They were the tip of the spear. Sharp and deadly. General Okonkwo led from the front. She was always in the thickest fighting. Her soldiers loved her for it. They would follow her into hell itself, and often they did. After 6 months of war, Union intelligence made a discovery. They found the source, the origin point of the new swarm, a massive hive complex in the Void Sector, a region of space at the edge of charted territory. Dark, cold, empty, the perfect place for the Krethax to breed. The hive was enormous. Built inside a dead moon orbiting a dying star, sensors estimated billions of Krethax inside, maybe trillions. It was the mother hive, the source of all the attacks. If they destroyed it, they would end the war. Admiral Takron proposed a conventional siege. Surround the moon. Bombard it from orbit. Starve the swarm out. It would take years, but it would work. Eventually, Okonkwo had a different plan. She called it Operation Cleansing Fire, a direct assault. Strike teams would enter the hive. Fight to the core. Deploy a Genesis bomb. The same weapon they used on Drakon, but bigger. Much bigger. Big enough to kill an entire moon. The Council rejected the plan immediately. It was suicide. No force could fight through that many Krethax. The teams would die before they reached the core. Okonkwo stood before them. Calm, certain. Then I will lead the assault myself. Give me 500 cleaners. Give me support from orbit. And give me 1 day. I will end this war, Sixthera protested. She had grown to respect Okonkwo, even to admire her. The thought of losing her was unbearable. General, you cannot. If you die, who will lead Earth's forces? Who will continue the fight? Okonkwo smiled. It was gentle, almost kind. Earth has many leaders, Commander. But this mission needs me. I have fought the swarm longer than anyone alive. I know them. I understand them. I hate them. That hate will carry me to the core. That hate will win this war. The Council debated for hours. Finally, they agreed. Okonkwo would go. She would take her best soldiers. The Union fleet would provide support. And everyone would pray. Preparation took 2 weeks. Okonkwo selected her team personally. Veterans. All of them. Soldiers who had fought for centuries. Who had lost everything. Who wanted revenge as much as she did. Marcus was among them. When Zixithara heard, she found him in the armory. He was checking his weapons. Preparing his armor. Getting ready to die. You do not have to go. You have done enough. You have fought enough. Marcus looked at her with those glowing eyes. Those enhanced eyes that saw too much. I lost my wife to the swarm. My children. My grandchildren. Everyone I ever loved. I have been fighting for 200 years. Not for Earth, not for the Union, for them. For the ones I lost. This is my last battle, Commander. Let me finish it. The fleet assembled in the Void Sector. 1,000 Union ships, 300 human vessels. And at the center, 500 cleaners and assault pods. The best soldiers humanity had ever created. They were going into hell. Most would not return. Okonkwo addressed her troops over the communication network. Her voice was steady, strong, final. Soldiers of Earth, brothers and sisters. We stand on the edge of victory. The swarm thinks they are safe. They think they are unstoppable. They are wrong. We will show them what humanity means. We will show them what happens when you threaten our home. We will show them death. The assault began. The Union fleet attacked from orbit, missiles, energy weapons. Everything they had. The moon's surface boiled. But the swarm did not care. They had billions of warriors. They could afford losses. The cleaners launched. 500 pods fell like meteors. They crashed through the crust, through layers of organic matter, through living tissue, deep into the moon, into the heart of the hive. Okonkwo's pod hit first. The door exploded open. She emerged into darkness, into a tunnel carved from flesh and bone. Krethax poured toward her. She did not hesitate. She charged. Her weapons sang. Biological blades, chemical sprayers, neural disruptors. Every tool humanity had learned to use. Every weapon forged from 300 years of war. She was a storm of violence. Her team followed. 500 warriors against billions. Impossible odds. Human odds. They fought deeper. Through breeding chambers. Through feeding grounds. Through nurseries full of larvae. They killed everything. They showed no mercy. They were vengeance made flesh. Hours passed. Soldiers fell. One by one. Torn apart by overwhelming numbers. But they bought time. Every death meant another meter gained. Another step closer to the core. Marcus died holding a junction point. 10 Krethax warriors attacked him at once. He killed them all before he fell. His last words were transmitted to the fleet. For Earth. For humanity. For everyone we lost. Okonkwo reached the core with 50 soldiers. The heart of the hive. A chamber so vast it seemed like another world. The queen was there. The mother of the swarm. Massive. Ancient, surrounded by her strongest warriors. Okonkwo looked at the Genesis bomb. It was the size of a building. They had carried it piece by piece. Now they assembled it, while her soldiers held the line. While they died protecting her, the bomb was ready. Timer set. 15 minutes. Enough time to reach the extraction point. Enough time to escape. But the soldiers were gone. All of them dead. Okonkwo was alone. She could run. Maybe she would make it. Maybe not. Or she could stay. Make sure the bomb worked. Make absolutely certain there was no choice. Not really. She had always known how this would end. She activated her final transmission. Back to the fleet. Back to Earth. Back to everyone. This is General Sarah Okonkwo. Mission accomplished. The bomb is armed. To everyone on Earth, to everyone in the Union. Remember this day. Remember that the swarm can be beaten. Remember that humanity survived. Remember that we endure. Always. The transmission ended. 15 minutes later, the moon exploded. Not with fire. With biological death. The Genesis bomb spread through the hive. Through every chamber. Every tunnel. Every organism. The swarm died, all of it. Across the galaxy, Krethax ships went silent. Dead. The war was over. Zixthara watched from her ship. She wept. For the first time in her long life, she wept. For Okonkwo. For Marcus. For all the humans who died. For the price of survival. Earth had saved them. But Earth had paid in blood. The galaxy mourned. Not just for the human dead. For all the fallen. Every species lost someone in the war. But humanity's sacrifice was the greatest. They had lost their best general. Their finest soldiers. Heroes who could never be replaced. The Union declared a day of remembrance. Every world. Every station. Every ship. Silence for 1 hour. Time to remember. Time to grieve. Time to understand what had been given. On Earth, the memorial was built in New Geneva. A massive wall carved from black stone. Every name. Every soldier who died in the final battle. General Okonkwo's name was at the top. Gold letters that would shine forever. Zixthara attended the ceremony. Chairman Liu was there. Still alive. Still leading. But older now. Tired. The war had taken something from everyone. He spoke to the gathered crowd, humans and aliens together, united in grief. Today we remember those who gave everything. General Okonkwo, Captain Marcus Santos, 500 brave souls who walked into death so that life could continue. They were heroes. They were warriors. They were human. And they will never be forgotten. When it was Zixthara's turn to speak, she struggled for words. How could she express what she felt? How could she explain? 300 years ago, the galaxy made a terrible mistake. We abandoned Earth. We thought humanity would die. We thought the swarm was unstoppable. We were wrong. Earth survived, not because of us. In spite of us. You survived alone. You fought alone. You won alone. And when the swarm returned, you came to save us, even though we did not deserve it. Even though we had left you to die. She looked at the memorial wall. At all those names. General Okonkwo once told me that Earth remembers. Earth survived. And Earth endures. Today I add this. The galaxy remembers too. We will never forget. We will never abandon you again. You are not alone anymore. You are part of us. And we are honored to be part of you. After the ceremony, the Union Council met. Earth was granted a permanent seat. Full membership. Equal status with the oldest species. It was too little, too late. But it was a start. Years passed. Peace settled over the galaxy. Not perfect peace. There were still conflicts, still problems. But the swarm was gone. That nightmare was over. Earth changed too. The people opened up. Slowly, carefully. They allowed visitors. They shared their knowledge, their technology, their stories. The galaxy learned what humanity had endured, what they had become, what they had sacrificed. But Earth remained strong, remained armed, remained ready. The enhancements stayed. The biomechanical technology continued. The weapons platforms remained active. They had learned the lesson of survival. Never be weak. Never be unprepared. Never trust the galaxy to save you. Human ships patrolled the outer edges of Union space, volunteers not ordered. They chose to stand watch, to guard against the darkness, because someone had to, and Earth knew how. Zixthera continued to serve on the council. She worked closely with Earth's representatives. She helped bridge the gap between humanity and the other species. It was slow work. Trust took time. But it was happening. A decade after the war, she visited Earth again. The planet had changed. Cities were growing on the surface, parks, gardens, life. The humans were healing. Slowly, but healing. She met with Chairman Liu one last time. He was dying, old age finally catching up. Even enhanced bodies had limits. He sat in a garden overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The water was clean and blue. The sky was clear. It looked like peace. Tell me, Commander, do you still fear us? Zixthera thought about it. Honestly, yes. But I also respect you, admire you. You are dangerous, but you are necessary. The galaxy needs guardians, protectors, warriors who know the cost of survival. That is humanity now, Liu smiled. His eyes were still sharp, still enhanced, but warmer than before. Good. We never wanted to be monsters. We wanted to be explorers, dreamers, friends. The swarm took that from us. But maybe someday, maybe our children's children will be able to dream again, to explore without fear, to trust. That is what we fought for. Not revenge. Hope. That night, Zixthera stood on the observation deck of her ship, looking down at Earth, the blue marble that had survived the impossible, the world that had been written off as dead, the home of humanity. Her aide approached. A young officer. She had not been alive during the war. She only knew the stories. Commander, there is a report from the Outer Rim. Strange sensor readings. Unknown contacts. Zixthera felt ice in her blood. Not again. Not so soon. Send the data to Earth. Alert the human patrol fleet. Already done, Commander. They are moving to intercept now. Zixthera watched the tactical display. Human ships were already in formation. Already moving. Always ready. Always prepared. That was humanity now. The galaxy's sword. The galaxy's shield. Minutes later, a transmission came through. A human captain, young, confident, enhanced Commander Zixthera. This is Captain Chen of the patrol ship Defiance. We have investigated the contacts. Not the swarm, repeat, not the swarm, unknown species. Possibly hostile. We are making first contact. Recommend full fleet standby. She felt relief. Then concern. A new species. That could mean anything. Allies, enemies. Another threat. Proceed with caution, Captain. Remember your training. Remember your purpose, the captain laughed. It was a warm sound, confident, fearless. I remember, Commander. We are human. We do not break. We do not retreat, we endure. Whatever is out there, we will handle it. Earth has this. The transmission ended. Zixthera looked back at Earth, at the lights shining in the darkness, at the ships moving through space, at humanity standing guard over the galaxy they once called home. She remembered the question Liu had asked. Do you still fear us? Yes, she did. But she was grateful for that fear, because it meant humanity was strong. It meant they could protect themselves, protect everyone. The galaxy had tried to reclaim Earth. They came expecting to find ruins, death, nothing. Instead, they found warriors, survivors, the strongest species in known space. Humanity had been tested by fire, and they emerged as something incredible. Earth was not lost. Earth was not broken. Earth was not dead. The galaxy had been wrong, terribly wrong, and now that mistake had been corrected. Humanity had returned, not as victims, not as refugees, as equals, as protectors, as proof that survival was possible, whatever came next, whatever threats emerged from the dark, whatever challenges the future held. The galaxy had one certainty, one absolute truth, one promise that would never be broken. Earth endures, always.